In the line of my duty, calling, and practice as transformational coach and also a healing of memories practitioner, I have come to adduce that one of the profound ways to stimulate motivation, to stimulate inspiration, to stimulate a space for reliance, resilience, is relationship with nature. So one of the faculties of my coaching domains or portfolios that I offer, I do leadership and executive coaching. I do career and personal development, teams and groups. Then I do performance. But one which I hardly advertise is marriage and relationship coaching. But in practice, I do that. I offer that a lot to a lot of clients who want to either get married or who want to get out of marriage, finding even parenting challenges. I do offer that kind of coaching, and I'm excited the results my clients do get when they step into that space for me to support them as their coach. I have one of my confidants in life, Father Michael Lapsley, who happens to be the founding father of the Institute for the Healing of Memories. Father Michael Lapsley's story fascinates me, and he keeps sharing it, and we use that story even during our workshops for healing of memories, that in his darkest moment, in his dark moment where he was just on the axis of giving up the ghost, because having suffered a letter bomb in pursuit of being an advocate against apartheid in South Africa, he suffered for it, and the bomb took his two arms, one eye, a lot of platelets on his body, scars on his body, and so on his dying bed, I'll put it, what inspired him, what sustained him, what motivated him not to give up was, he said, the love, the droves of love the universe, the world showed him. He got letters from all over the world encouraging him, spurring him on his path of recovery. And it is one of the things I always cite when I get opportunity to talk about relationships, because every human being, that is how come we are called beings, is also a social animal. Look at our pets, look at our dogs, look at our cats. Even people are even domesticating lions and all that, even horse. And there is so much to learn from that space. So what I want to share is what we get from relationship, what it is meant to give to you as an individual in a relationship with somebody. What is fundamental to mention is that relationship is in your body first. It is in your body. When I listen to the works of Dr. Bruce Lipton, when he spoke about that we are made up of 50 trillion cells, and these trillion cells, what they do is they collaborate, they communicate, they connect, they do all these so that your full-blown human being will function as I am functioning on this video. So it suggests that every component of you is in collaboration, is in a relationship with each other, so that every time at the unconscious level, your body is serving you. Every cell in your body that makes you a human being is serving you. It is the same way relationships are supposed or meant to be. when you look at the neurochemicals required to forge social bonding, loving, then you understand that relationships are a core function of our humanity and as beings. Even if our dogs, our cats, our pets gets to enjoy their relationship with us, we've all seen videos where even wild animals try to commune with human beings when one of their kind is in trouble or one of their kind is caught up in traps or fell in wells or all that. They tend to come out to approach human beings and lead them to those destinations. And it's amazing because as mammals, we revolve on the axis of relationship. So it is imperative that in all our getting, even if it is not romantic relationship, we must get to understand that relationship has got neurochemicals that aids us to want to relate or become social beings. You see, I keep saying that we what sets us apart from AI fundamentally is because we have emotions and feelings. Not even our logics here, not even our logics that happen in the prefrontal cortex, as we call it, not even our logics. Because when we were in our mother's womb, where we couldn't think for ourselves or our logics were not matured, the mood swings of our mother actually also influence our mood down there. The feelings, the emotions and all that also, that is what we learn what it is. So that suggests that our emotions forms the core enclave for how we relate and associate with other people. So when you think about the subject matter relationship, I want you to go deep and ask yourself, what is your emotional balance? What are your feeling tolerance level? What are your moods propensity? Because if you look at the one of the mood neurochemicals, which is serotonin, there is more of it in your belly. That is how come when you don't eat well, you can have very bad mood. Or when you eat wild pepper, you see the kind of mood it gives to you, because serotonin sits more in your guts than any part of your body. Then you come to the love hormone, as a lot of people call it. But in my line of duty, I've come to realize that in as much as we credit oxytocin as the love hormone, it is not oxytocin alone that produces love that we must practice. It's actually oxytocin and vasopressin, because vasopressin is the bonding neurochemical. So the two, and where there is love, there is bonding. Where there is bonding, there is love. None is the absence of the other. The two of them forms what we call love. Then you come to see the fizziness and the feeling of the frenziness that you get when you fall in love, you want to bond, you want to connect, you want to have good feeling. One of those feelings is pleasure. And that aspect comes from what we call dopamine. So falling in love or belonging to a relationship or going into a relationship is actually a neurochemical, or it's a neural requirement for your being. Because if you look at the ancient days, our forefathers, when they were moving through caves, the reason a lot of them survive, anyone who stay out of the confines of the bond, they don't survive it. But those who stay together, they tend to make it. There are even laboratory tests of mice where when some were fed certain good food but got isolated, they die. But those who were even fed with certain kind of toxics or poison, and they had a community to nurse and nurture, they survived the poisoning. So that goes back to buttress what Father Michael Lapsley experienced when he suffered a letter bomb, that when people pour in droves of love, and because love, even though in the lingo terms we call it love, it's actually deeper energy that gets stirred within our body. And when love is poured, motivation comes along from dopamine. Okay, happiness comes through when that love is cemented, because the eudaimonia and hedonia, that is the two types of happiness. All these are required, important, integral for the quality of relationship that you find yourself in. That brings to the point where I want to ask you, have you pondered to ask yourself, the relationship you have with yourself, is it inspiring enough? Is it motivating enough? Is it coming from within, or it is shaped from without? Because I have come across people who have issues with falling in love, who have gone through damning relationship episodes here and there. I have come across all that. And anytime they come to the coaching sessions, and I'm excited by the grace of God, my clients get a lot of breakthroughs, a lot. The first, second, third, when they begin to encounter, I call it encountering themselves anew, something else shifts, something else emerged. Then they go like, it's now making more sense to me how perhaps all my relationships did not work. Because when you begin to discover the relationship you have with yourself, you eliminate blame. You take away blame game. So you are able to account and hold yourself responsible for your own unlearning, learning, and relearning. And these three create a deeper sense of awareness about you, who you are, who you can be, the possibilities, the opportunities you can take, and everything. So I always want to start from self-loving. And I didn't say self-love, I'm saying self-loving, because self-love can be a destination that ends. But self-loving is a continuous way you treat, you honor, you accord yourself, you serve yourself, you hold yourself in that esteem. Recently, I was reading one of the books of Gabor Mate, and it's fascinating that even when we talk about self, it's actually not a single component in your neurology. It is the combination and the firing of all the neurons that are here to serve you, spiking plasticity, so that you step into the world demonstrating the uniqueness and the difference you take a stand for. That is the beauty of when you do self-loving. That means it is not a dead end. Recently, I said somewhere that our purpose ends in the grave, and when we get buried, it's our legacy that gets resurrected, because it is then when all that you did, what you have done, what you have invested in, become relevant to humanity, and that becomes your legacy. So it is the same way that your loving must be a continuous thing, not something that you arrive at and you stop. And when you have that self-loving, it shapes and prepares you in such a way that you now become attuned and attached to your deepermost self, and it creates, the heart, our cardiac brain, the heart is the only part of the body that produces the electromagnetic fields that can envelope others, or that can get you be enveloped by that of others. So when your self-loving energy and frequency and current is so anchored, empowered, and so bonding, it sends that signal out there such that people who are not on that kind of frequency and vibration cannot come your way. Because we are frequency beings. We are like current, like the electricity. We are like that. Okay, we are energy. Because at the minutest level, the cellular level, we are frequencies, we are energy. So the more you keep nurturing self-loving, what you are doing is building your magnetic field from your heart. That's what we call heart coherence. That if I'm to put myself onto the Hartman Institute M-Wave, and when I'm in coherence, you'll find out my heart peaks at a certain frequency and the momentum in time. So that's what we call it heart rate variability. That is how come if you don't do a lot of work on your self-loving, you become susceptible to manipulators. You become so easy to find yourself in the arms and in the lives of manipulators. I think recently I read a story, I think in the Daily Graphic also, or the is it News Times or so. I recently read something like that when the lady said, oh, from the first aspect of their marriage, it was like honeymoon and everything, until one day the man came back from work and he attended a demon and something. I said, no. One of the cardinal evidence of manipulators is that honeymoon state. And research has suggested that we fall in love not only by what we see. Actually, our nose go ahead of us. Let me put it reservedly, our need for attachment and attention, or our lack for self-loving, becomes like a fragrance. Because sometimes in my trainings and my coaching, I ask you, what is the fragrance of your heart? That which becomes a fragrance. And just like dogs, when they are on heat, they attract the male dogs. We also become like that, where by nature of the fragrance that is emanating from us, as the level of our self-loving or the lack of our self-loving of it, or the traumas that we have inherited that are not healed, it becomes like a fragrance that attracts manipulators. And you've always heard me talk about the dark tetrads, the Machiavellians, the psychopath, the narcissist, and the sadist. These group of four. And interestingly, a lot of time they walk double, triple, and some have got all the four. But each of them are damning and damaging to any form of relationship. And people that I have encountered and supported, it is when they realize, they say, Coach, I didn't know that the absence of my father, I didn't know the absence of my mother, I didn't know that the father didn't get childhood love. So sometimes I keep saying that our kids who only feed on bottles, they don't get to feed on the breast of their mothers. We should check it. We should check it, because breastfeeding is one of the ways people get attuned to relationships. So it is very imperative that our self-loving must be a critical issue in building, forging, and fostering quality relationships out there. It is not even only about romantic relationship. In my next episode, in my next video, I will take my time to speak about the inspirational, motivational, empowering, beneficial insight on romantic relationship. I will take my time in the next episode. But this one is just to lay the foundation about why it is relevant to go into quality relationships. I'm Scofray, and I am your boy, transformational executive coach. I am an MBIT master coach, MBIT trainer, and the lead consult for Zoe Global Consult. Let's keep growing. Check the next episode. Thank you.